Hi everybody, welcome back to the channel for another video on Marvel Contest of Champions. This one is experimenting with the idea of trying to make that old man Logan a little bit better, maybe up to about like a demigod kind of tier, because let's face it, he isn't no god tier. Some people that might be thinking, what are you doing? Are you mental or something? This guy could never damage output that extent. That would like him to be anything close to Domino or anything that could damage output like Sabretooth or be on the level of any god tier or demigod tier. And to those naysayers among you, oi, calm your tits. Okay, let's be real. We're looking to gain pacifism charges. We're looking to get those kind of influx of fury as well as cruelty buffs, which are going to mean that we're going to try and damage output a huge amount. Yeah, we're going to see some positives, but also what synergy is going to benefit this champion. There have been some new advancements and new improvements which make you kind of go, right, should I be going down this route? Then we'll have a look at it as well. One thing that has let this champion down is the ability to regen, but new synergies that have been added with Sabretooth and Domino mean that he's an extra added bonus, and also at the same time the improvement of regeneration rate is just so much more interesting for the player base to utilize this guy more. I'm not going to say it's going to be perfect, but let's have a look at the experimentation side of things. Also, slight segue, if you're interested in finding out more about synergy information of certain champions, go to marvelsynergy.com. I'm not affiliated to do any sponsorship for them. The fact is, I really rate this site and I use it quite a bit. In particular, gathering information, preparing stuff for teams, and also for these videos, I think it's a great resource and well worth you giving it a look for your preparation in the future. First synergy up for experimentation is this. It's got Sabretooth, Iceman, Archangel, obviously Old Man Logan, and finally Domino, and there are good reasons for putting this in place. The plan is predominantly to just regenerate, and in future fights you're going to see me trying to take damage as part of Old Man Logan's ability. It's all about trying to take damage and get to like lower than each kind of 10% each time, which kind of build your pacifism, which could be a good option with using a Sabretooth synergy because it improves that regeneration rate. It's pretty impressive. I've then got a special attack damage increase, so that's somewhat helpful, though as we're going to see it's not completely helpful. And therefore we've got the final one, which is Domino, which is all about regeneration fury, 12% more effective, lovely jubbly. That's what we're trying to do, improve that regen, which we're going to see is absolutely fantastic, especially for a champion that was trash for his regeneration in the past. And also that fury improvement does improve the character. My thoughts on fight one is that it wasn't really establishing much. It was kind of a good way to see the extent of, yeah, okay, there was a little bit of fury improvement. It was brilliant to see the regeneration, because that's something I always wanted to see with a champion like Old Man Logan. Yeah, when he was first put into the game, there was no Domino, there was no Sabretooth, and at the same time you're just looking at it and just going, yeah, where's the stacking of regeneration? You've got Wolverine, does he compare? He's meant to be older, so therefore is he meant to regenerate more or less? The way that pacifism comes in, it is still fantastic to see this, and at the same time building it up. What's the best process? Well, I didn't really do it with this synergy. The kind of correct way I should have done this is to build it up based on trying to get Winter Soldier, or any champion for that matter, to just spam the L1s, quickly getting pacifism to the point of when that pacifism charge absorbs and we get a stack load of those fury and cruelty buffs. But also it wasn't impressive on damage. It was actually quite mediocre in the whole process of damage, which is a little disappointing, but you know, that's really something we're just trying to find out a bit more in this video. Okay, here we are with Synergy 2, and I'm actually quite looking forward to experimenting with this, and there's good reasons why. We're keeping Domino and we're keeping Sabretooth, and the reason that I do want to keep these in is just based on that regeneration. I want to play to that point of taking damage. I want to take damage in order to exploit that ability a bit more. Also, I want to look to my special attacks more when the pacifism charge is on, that I'm doing increased amounts or a good amount of bleed, or a better chance of doing a bleed. And as we said, when we lose 10% of max health on the opponent uses a special attack against him, he gains a charge of passive and has 10% chance per charge to snap and go berserk. That is exactly what we're trying to do. We're trying to focus on that a bit more, bring down the amount of hits that it took to then take down Winter Soldier and any champion for that matter. And the synergy to really do this obviously is going to be this one. As I said, regeneration. Yes, I want to try and take a little bit more damage to then deal out a bit more damage as well. And at the same time, I'm now comfortable. After the first fight, I'm like, hey, this is pretty cool. I can take a bit of damage. I'm not worried too much. And those three champions. Domino, Old Man Logan, and Sabretooth are three fantastic champions. I know that people may disagree with Old Man Logan, but I think that threesome, they're absolutely amazing together. Especially if you're considering the fact now with this synergy, we've got a champion that is poison immune, and at the same time, Nick Fury is a great champion, even though obviously don't mention a nerf. But the fact is, we want to exploit the fact of the Nick's leadership, and yeah, all hero champions. That's a little joke for anybody that watched the Joe Fixit video that I got that completely wrong about the fact that he's a villain. Anyway, it doesn't need really explaining, but I think people would get that joke. But contingency plan, whereas we've got the Beardo synergy and we've got Cosmic Supremacy, which increases the duration of cosmic-based champions for the purpose of either Fury or Fury and Cruelty. The fact is, this is for all champions. Contingency plan is there. So that's what you're going to see me try and do, is see whether or not this synergy can help out Old Man Logan to provide that increase in the amount of Fury, and whether or not it does provide that improvement. So I'm quite excited to see how this plays out. The fight itself went very well. I'm pretty happy with the outcome of it, and at the same time it was good to see that pacifism switching over, and as well the extent of bleed that we were doing. Now that is basically subject to the way that you play the champion, to the extent of bleed that you're going to get back. Either way, I'm pretty happy to see that damage output is definitely looking like it's slightly improving. And this is obviously achieved by the fact that those Fury buffs are staying on longer. Now there may be synergies in the future that really benefit a champion like Old Man Logan, or look at the duration improvement. You could even say you could go with the Mastermind synergy to improve attack rating, but it's just a case of playing it in a certain way that benefits the pacifism, but keeping the champion alive in the game. At the end of the fight, found that my Old Man Logan was at full health, and that's great because the aspect of the champion is taking damage. If you're taking more than 10%, say you've taken about 90%, then yeah, that's the case. You could play about with the idea of trying to build 9 pacifism charges. In practice and in principle, it's maybe a little bit difficult than that, but at the same time, stuff like that is achievable. It depends how much of a risk you want to take to do that. Remember, one mistake at 10% could mean that you absolutely lose all your health. The most I was putting up without creating too much of a risk to my champion was about 7, but there would be more scope to do more, and it would be a good idea to try it out. However though, it may be best to kind of go, this champion would be really good for questing formats. What I thought I'd do is prepare another fight which has some sort of build around a 345. I've got Angela here, 345 champion, a great champion. She is a decent one. She's like demigod, goddess tier, whatever you want to kind of refer to as. She is definitely up there. But the fact is, with a kick-ass synergy, like what I did with Old Man Logan, I stacked him with a decent synergy, as we've seen in the 2 preparation fights. But when it comes to this one, yeah, okay, so she's going to damage output a huge amount. Does Old Man Logan come up at the same standard? No. There's probably 100 hits difference in what damage output this one can output, especially considering she gets Fury. And what we were trying to do with Old Man Logan is prolong those Fury-based effects in order to see if we can maximize damage. But that's not any great disrespect to Old Man Logan, because he can be a good padding to just having 2 champions, and as a kind of full questing team, just having Sabretooth and Domino there. What are my final thoughts on this? Well, I thought this was great, this was fun, I thought it was entertaining. It was good to see the extent of synergy changes and what they can do for a champion. Although we have seen that the damage output isn't going to be as extreme. The Nick Fury synergy with Nick's leadership, and as well coupled with the Captain America contingency plan with Nick Fury, do allow for improvements for Fury, and that is obviously what we want to achieve. But it is not a champion that is going to damage output some huge amounts of numbers. But if you want a champion that's going to stay in the game for a lot longer, and you don't have to really worry too much, and is like one of the true brawlers of the game, then indeed run a team that could benefit with it. I do like Sabretooth and I do like Domino, and it might be an idea from time to time to add in a champion like Old Man Logan, especially considering going up against content that is very much class specific. In any case, that has been a little video on Old Man Logan. If you enjoyed this video, hit the like button and subscribe for more Marvel Contest Champions based content. If you've got any thoughts on this character, any kind of better synergies than the ones that I've kind of played about with, or you maybe think that champion needs a buff, rather than need Synergies to improve it, then have your say in a comment section below. I've been RichTheMan. I shall catch you in the next one. Bye bye for now.